Hi there. Today we're just doing a demonstration of our product, DamIt Dam Sealer, which is a powdered polymer. There's a bucket sitting there. We wanted to demonstrate today how our product can be used. We get asked a lot of questions by customers from all over the world. Can I use your product when I've got no water in my dam? It's leaked and it's empty, am I able to use it? So our product is typically applied to the water of the dam when it's full. It sinks to the bottom, binds up all of the clays and silts and stops water leaking through porous soils. But this is a great example. So this is a recreational pond, if you like, that was dug a long time ago. It's not in an ideal situation. The soils are very poor. It's been allowed to silt up. It's always been filled from a bore or a well, and what's happened over time is it's silted up, it's full of vegetation, and the owners have said we wouldn't mind filling this with water again. So what we've offered to do is come in and clean out the vegetation and show how our product can be used. So it can be applied to dry soils, the same as if your dam, the water level was very low, you could apply it to the dry soil. But what we're going to do is show how that works. Obviously we've got to clear out some of the vegetation so that we get back to soil. The polymer needs to infiltrate and mix with the soil, and that's why we're going to give this a bit of a scrape, a bit of a clean up. But over the next little while we'll show you the project and show you how we can rejuvenate this pond and get it holding water again using our dam sealer, our DamIt Dam Sealer. And hopefully this answers a few questions from those of you that might be looking at using it on your project. Just taking a look at this particular dam, this is a really challenging situation. It's been very poorly constructed. You can see that we've got a very steep bank, and that's not ideal. You're going to get erosion. So we've tested the polymer up to about a 45-degree bank. And we know that it sticks and holds in place, but any steeper and it's going to want to roll down and slump down. But as well as that, you don't want to construct a dam with walls that are that steep. You're going to end up with erosion. So you basically want a more gentle grade coming in, and that's going to help stabilize things over the longer term. So in this situation, what we're going to do, we've given it a scrape, we've taken a lot of the silt out, a lot of the vegetation, there's some leaf litter and things, and there's some silt. We've scraped that out. And now what we're going to do is we're going to apply the dam sealer polymer over the surface. But there's a little bit of wind around today, that's not ideal. What we don't want is we don't want the polymer blowing away. So the polymer has two crystals. You can see that there's a dust component that almost wants to blow away, and there's a larger crystal which is a bit like sugar. And what we see people doing is grabbing handfuls of it and throwing it. And that is not an effective way to apply the product, because what happens is the wind catches the fine particles, blows them away, and the larger particles go a longer distance. It's really important that you get an even mix of particles over an area for DamIt to do its job properly. So we really suggest using something like this, which is a seed spreader. Gives you a nice even coverage. Yes, it might take a little bit longer, but it's going to give you nice even coverage. So if I've loaded that up and I'm applying it over the surface, the good thing about applying it over a dry surface, whether your dam is very low and you want to work onto the walls, or whether you've got a totally dry dam like this, if I apply this, it's much easier to see where I've got good coverage. So you can see that there's a bit of a cloud of product that is disappearing, and that's not great. So ideally you don't want to do it when there's too much wind, because you're going to lose that finer particle. But you can see that you've got nice coverage, that you haven't missed any areas, and that's a real benefit of doing it when the dam is dry. What we'd recommend is grabbing a rake or something, and I've got a turf spreader here, and just giving it a light cover with soil, because what that does is it protects it. It sits there in the soil ready for some moisture, and as soon as you get a little bit of moisture or a little bit of rain on that, it's going to activate and it's going to start binding to the soil. So that's the ideal situation. You don't really want to displace it too much. You just want to put a very light covering of soil over it and try and keep it in place. The other thing that I wanted to mention about this is that it's not ideal when you've got water rushing into a dam. So the steep sides, we're on a steep bank here, it's not ideal. You want to put some water calming devices here to slow the water down so that it's entering the dam more gently. That's the ideal situation. Otherwise you're going to get scour and erosion anyway. Most of the issues tend to be deeper in the dam because that's where the water pressure is highest. So you can see what's happened here, that at some point in time it looks like the previous person has imported some clay and lined the bottom with clay, which is actually good. It looks like some preparation has been done rather than just digging a hole. But the soil that we're working with here, the natural soil, is really, really poor. Really, really sandy, really, really friable. It's not going to hold water. Ideally what you want is some clay. And I can see that this is good clay, but whether there's good coverage or whether there's enough coverage to stop water travelling through it, we're just not too sure. So this particular project, the owner has said, I want some water in this, I want to get some ducks on it and I want it to look nice. So we're going to apply the DamIt polymer over this dam, and when we get some rain it should activate in the soil and it should hold water.